Let's be real, the gaming world's so loud right now, it's easy to miss the stuff that actually hits different. This list, it's a lovingly curated mix of underrated AA bangers and indie gems that deserve way more hype. No fluff, no filler, just 20 must-play titles. So hey, if you like what you hear, maybe stick around and subscribe? A Plague Tale Requiem. Ever wonder what it feels like to be emotionally destroyed and mildly terrified by rats? Yeah, welcome to A Plague Tale Requiem, the sequel nobody was emotionally prepared for. Developed by Asobo Studio, this grim, narrative-heavy action-adventure doesn't just pull heartstrings, it plays them like a violin in a burning cathedral. Set in a disease-ridden, sun-scorched medieval France, the world feels hauntingly beautiful. It's like walking through a painting, if that painting included the occasional swarm of flesh-eating vermin. You play as Amicia and her younger brother Hugo, who's basically a walking supernatural biohazard, and together you sneak, survive, and sob your way through a story that somehow hurts more than it should. Gameplay blends stealth, light puzzle solving, and brutal combat, with just enough progression to keep you evolving. It's heavy, yes, but worth every moment. Honestly, Requiem doesn't just deserve to be played, it deserves to be felt.
What? Never seen you do that. I don't like it, but I always end up having to do it. That's two. I know, and I don't want to know, Sophia. Why do you have to?
Hades 2. Okay, so you know how Hades basically redefined roguelikes by making failure feel addictive? Well, Hades 2 somehow cranks that formula to 11, and then dunks on it with a witchy underworld aesthetic that's chef's kiss. Supergiant Games is back, and this time you're not playing as Zagreus, you're his sister, Melinoe, and she's got a bone to pick with Kronos, literal god of time. Casual family drama. From the moment you jump in, you're hit with that signature Supergiant style. Slick hand-drawn visuals, absurdly good voice acting, and music that makes you want to throw punches in rhythm. The underworld's now colder, more arcane, with Greek sorcery, lunar motifs, and enough sass from the gods to fill Mount Olympus twice over. Combat is fluid, fierce, and flexible, whether you're into fast daggers, magic bursts, or raw brute force. And yeah, you'll die. A lot. But every death inches you closer, and that loop, still dangerously addictive. Hades 2 doesn't just evolve the roguelike, it enchants it. Pure, chaotic beauty. Dynasty Warriors Origins. There's something deeply therapeutic about mowing down literally hundreds of enemies with one swing of a giant spear. Dynasty Warriors Origins is Koei Tecmo's glorious return to Battlefield Chaos, and this time they're not just turning the dial up, they ripped it clean off. This entry pulls things back to the series' roots, but with a twist. Massive scale warfare meets next-gen horsepower. You're not just a lone warrior, you're a one-person wrecking crew in the middle of a living, breathing battlefield. Soldiers shouting, flags flying, cavalry charging. It's dramatic, dumb, and delightful. The Three Kingdoms setting is as bombastic as ever, filled with familiar faces like Zhao Yun and Lu Bu, who still makes you regret all your life choices if you cross him early. But now, it's all bigger, denser, and smoother, with real-time tactical elements giving things a bit more depth. Is it historically accurate? Absolutely not. Is it a button-mashing fever dream of pure joy? Yes, and that's exactly why we love it.
To stand in my way. Offer me no quarter. Fight as you will, Guan Yu!
Looking rough. With all my might. Your eyes.
Nemeth, is he willing to help?
Yeah, under one condition. That I turn their Daoka back on.
You will need to...
OUTCAST: A New Beginning. Imagine crash landing on an alien planet only to be told you're the chosen one. And instead of saying, nah, I'm good, you just go with it. That's basically the vibe of OUTCAST: A New Beginning, a sci-fi open-world reboot that feels like the 2000s called, but somehow made it look really good. Developed by Appeal Studios, this one drops you into the lush, vibrant world of Adelpha, a planet that feels like if Pandora from Avatar had more sarcasm and fewer blue cat people. You're Cutter Slade, a gruff ex-Navy SEAL with a name that sounds like he headlined a bad 90s action movie. But somehow, he works. He's here to save the alien Talon people from corporate colonizers, and he does it with jetpacks, alien gadgets, and plenty of snark. Combat is tactical yet chaotic, exploration is rewarding, and the world feels alive. Like, actually alive. OUTCAST blends old-school charm with modern systems in a way that shouldn't work, but totally does. It's like the cult classic comeback you didn't know you needed, until now. Dread Delusion. If Morrowind got really into goth metal, took a nap on a floating rock, and woke up inside a fever dream, you'd get Dread Delusion. This unapologetically weird first-person RPG from lovely Hellplace doesn't just lean into retro strangeness. It dives in headfirst and builds a house there. Set in a broken sky world stitched together by crumbling islands and twisted beliefs, Dread Delusion oozes atmosphere. It's grimy, unsettling, oddly beautiful, like an old-school RPG that forgot to follow the rules. You're not a hero here, you're just someone trying to survive in a cursed world ruled by forgotten gods and philosophical horror. The writing is sharp, strange, and often brilliant. The world begs to be explored, not because there's a waypoint, but because you have to know what's around that jagged corner. Combat, serviceable. Vibes, immaculate. It's not for everyone, but if you like your RPGs raw, haunting, and kind of unhinged, this is the good stuff. SENUA'S Saga HELLBLADE 2. You don't play HELLBLADE 2, you endure it, in the best, most harrowing way possible. SENUA'S Saga HELLBLADE 2 by Ninja Theory is less of a game and more of a psychological descent wrapped in Norse myth, grief, and seriously unsettling sound design. Like, wear headphones, unless you enjoy questioning your own reality. You're once again in the mind of Senua, a Celtic warrior grappling with psychosis, trauma, and inner demons, both literal and figurative. The Icelandic landscapes, bleakly stunning, like standing on the edge of the world, waiting for it to fall apart. It's cinematic, sure, but there's a raw, uncomfortable intimacy to everything. You don't just see her suffering, you feel it. Combat is brutal and personal. No HUD, no hand-holding, just you, a voice in your head, and a giant trying to crush your spine. And yet, the quiet moments hit hardest. It's not a power fantasy, it's a journey. A painful, powerful, unforgettable one.
Faster!
We have to do stuff that isn't always very fun.
What we're trying to say, darling, is that, well, Mum and Dad, we've decided to go our separate ways.
It takes two. Alright, time to switch gears. From trauma and Norse despair to divorce and sentient book therapy? Yeah. It Takes Two is like Pixar got locked in a room with a game dev, some emotional baggage, and way too much caffeine. The result? A co-op masterpiece from Hazelight Studios that's equal parts hilarious, heartfelt, and mechanically brilliant. You play as Cody and May, a couple on the brink of splitting up who get magically transformed into tiny dolls by their heartbroken daughter. Cue a wild, emotional journey guided by a self-help book with a very intense Spanish accent and a flair for dramatic entrances. The real magic? Every level throws a new mechanic at you. One moment you're reversing time, the next you're riding a frog through a garden or fighting squirrels in a tree, wars straight out of Metal Gear Solid. It never gets old, but beneath the chaos, there's heart. Real relationship insight, genuine laughs, and moments that hit surprisingly hard. Grab a friend, partner, sibling, whoever. Just don't try to solo this one.
Wanna get back to Rose?
Yes.
You wanna talk to your daughter?
Yes.
Then you need to climb the vacuum together. Oh, come on.
Why are you doing this to us?
Because you two must learn collaboration.
That's not our strong point.
Aha! You know, collaboration is the key to a successful relationship.
Hear ye, hear ye. The delicate and spoken. The law takes effect.
Frostpunk 2. Hope? That's a luxury. In Frostpunk 2, survival is the morality system. This sequel from 11-bit studios cranks the frostbitten despair up to new levels, asking you not just how you'll keep humanity alive, but who you're willing to become in the process. Set 30 years after the original game, the world's still a frozen nightmare, but now the focus shifts from coal to oil. And let me tell you, politics in an ice apocalypse? Rough. You're not just managing heaters and soup rations anymore, you're dealing with entire factions, ideologies, riots, and hard choices that'll have you questioning whether keeping people alive is even the point anymore. Every decision is a lose-lose. Do you sacrifice freedom for survival? Starve the few to feed the many? Oh, and don't get too attached to hope, because just when you think you're doing okay, the frost always bites back. This isn't city building, it's moral demolition, and it's brilliantly brutal.
To the person or persons who keep smearing feces on the steward's portraits, enough.
Commence mission. Iron Rain. Hexaquark cannon, prepare to fire. Target the mega giant creature.
Earth Defense Force 6. If subtlety were a video game, Earth Defense Force 6 would flip at the bird, grab a rocket launcher, and dive headfirst into a tsunami of giant bugs. And honestly, that's why we love it. Developed by Sandlot, EDF6 doesn't pretend to be deep. It knows exactly what it is. Pure, ridiculous, over-the-top arcade chaos. You play as a soldier in Earth's last-ditch resistance force, facing off against an endless swarm of alien ants, spiders, robots, and things with too many legs. The story? Something post-apocalyptic alien invasion. But really, it's all just an excuse to unleash absurd firepower with zero guilt. Every mission escalates. One moment you're blasting bugs in a city, the next you're fighting skyscraper-sized kaiju with a mecha suit while a guy screams EDF, EDF in the background like it's a cult chant. And it kind of is. It's dumb, campy, gloriously janky, and somehow endlessly fun. If you need therapy through explosions, this is it.
Increased by 25%. My work is done. Let's hope the hardware can take it. Energy recharge at 70%. Staggering. It's working.
JUSANT. Sometimes a game doesn't need dialogue to say something powerful. It just hands you a rope, points to the sky, and lets the silence do the talking. That's JUSANT, a meditative climbing adventure from Don't Nod that swaps chaos for calm and somehow makes verticality emotional. You play as a lone wanderer with a mysterious water creature companion, scaling a massive, abandoned tower that once pulsed with life. There's no combat, no enemies, just climbing. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This isn't a walking sim with extra steps. It's a tactile, tension-filled ascent where every grip, anchor, and foothold matters. The tower itself tells a story through echoes of the past. Sun-bleached ruins, forgotten tools, faded murals. It's all about piecing together what was, while moving ever upward toward what might be. JUSANT is a quiet masterpiece. No noise, no filler, just a beautiful climb that says more in silence than most games scream in cutscenes.
about her.
The CHANT. Ever gone on a wellness retreat only to accidentally rip open a portal to cosmic horror? No? Well, the CHANT makes sure you never want to. Developed by Brass Token, this third-person survival horror game feels like someone fed Midsummer, Silent Hill, and a crystal healing Instagram page into a blender and hit Summon Nightmare. You play as Jess, a woman trying to process past trauma by joining a new age spiritual retreat on a remote island. Classic mistake. Things go sideways fast when a group ritual backfires and unleashes the Gloom, a kaleidoscopic dimension full of psychic monsters, possessed cultists, and feelings you probably should have just talked through in therapy. Instead of guns, you wield salt, sage, and essential oils, no joke, in a resource-based combat system that actually keeps you thinking. Managing your mind, body, and spirit meters becomes just as important as survival. It's weird, unsettling, and wonderfully trippy, a flawed but fascinating horror trip worth taking. Preferably with all your chakras firmly aligned.
Don't they do animal testing? Doesn't that seem wrong?
It is wrong, but my division won't listen to me.
If people won't listen, maybe you're in the wrong place. There are many other types of medicine.
Nice shooting, but the section is under lockdown.
I'll find a way. Or make one.
Chorus. Alright, space shooter fans. If you've ever wanted a cosmic revenge story where your starfighter has actual feelings and might be low-key judging your every move, Chorus is calling. Developed by Deep Silver Fish Labs, this stylish cinematic space combat game is basically Control meets Star Wars Rogue Squadron, with a splash of existential dread. You play as Nara, a former cult enforcer haunted by the galaxy-shattering war crimes she committed. Now she's trying to make things right, and she's not alone. Her ship, Forsaken, is sentient, sassy, and slightly terrifying. Together, you drift, dash, and dogfight across gorgeously lit nebulae, asteroid belts, and derelict ruins, all while unraveling a mystery that feels equal parts spiritual and sci-fi. Combat is tight and fluid. You can drift mid-battle, teleport behind enemies, and string together kills like a cosmic ballet of destruction. It's fast, flashy, and surprisingly deep. Chorus isn't just about space fights. It's about confronting your past while blowing it up in glorious 60 frames per second.
For the Prophet!
What's coming?
Nora? Are you still there? Help's on the way.
Witness the royal blade!
I am your shield.
Unicorn Overlord. Yes, it's called Unicorn Overlord, and no, it's not a joke. It's a gloriously over-the-top, deeply strategic tactical RPG from Vanillaware, the folks who brought you 13 Sentinels and Odin Sphere. And somehow, they've taken a name that sounds like a metal band's D&D campaign and made one of the most stylish strategy games in years. You play as Alan, a prince in exile, building a resistance army to reclaim his kingdom. Classic setup, but the execution? Immaculate. The game blends large-scale tactical warfare with character-driven storytelling and gorgeous hand-drawn visuals that make every battlefield look like a moving painting. Instead of grid-based combat, you're managing squads on a real-time map, triggering clashes that feel like tiny dioramas of chaos. There's depth here, unit synergy, positioning, classes, morale, but it never feels overwhelming. Oh, and yes, there is a literal unicorn. It's majestic. Get over it. If you're into Fire Emblem but wish it had more beefcake generals and anime drama, this is your jam.
You'll regret this.
Try me.
How embarrassing.
I have you.
Nothing but fast food. Should buy something healthier on my way home.
SOMA. SOMA isn't here to give you cheap jump scares or blood-splattered corridors. No, this is existential horror at its most emotionally devastating. Developed by Frictional Games, the minds behind Amnesia, it's a sci-fi descent into the dark where the real terror isn't monsters. It's the idea of what you are. You awaken in an underwater research facility after what should have been a routine brain scan. But things are wrong. The place is decaying, AI has lost its grip on reality, and machines think they're people. It's all deeply unsettling. And that's before the game starts asking questions like, if your mind is copied, which version is really you? Fun stuff. The atmosphere is thick with dread. The sound design is nerve-shattering. And the story? Pure philosophical horror that sticks with you long after the credits. There's stealth-based survival, sure, but the real enemy here is existence itself. SOMA doesn't just scare you, it haunts you. And somehow, it's absolutely worth it.
Father.
Vampire. You ever wake up in a mass grave, realize you're now a vampire, and immediately bite your own sister by accident? No? Then congratulations! You're doing better than Dr. Jonathan Reed, the brooding protagonist of Vampire. Developed by Dontnod, this gritty action RPG tosses you into 1918 London. Mid-flu epidemic, mid-moral crisis, mid-undeath. You're a brilliant doctor trying to cure a dying city, while also kinda needing to drink its citizens. Yeah, it's complicated. Every NPC has a life, a backstory, and a blood type, and feeding on them gives you massive XP boosts. But here's the catch. Kill too many, and districts literally collapse into chaos. Combat is messy, weighty, and satisfyingly savage. But the real meat is in the choice. Protect a community, or grow more powerful at the cost of your humanity. Vampyr doesn't judge. It just lets you stew in the consequences. Dark, atmospheric, and morally murky. It's deliciously underrated.
Come on, Reed.
Hey, quick timeout before we hit the final stretch. If you've made it this far, you clearly have great taste, or a really cozy chair. Either way, consider subscribing. It helps more than you think, and I promise, no spam, no weird cult initiation, just more awesome games and probably a few bad jokes. Alright, back to the good stuff. Enshrouded. If you've ever wanted to mash up Valheim, Zelda, and a bit of Dark Souls, but with co-op and cursed fog, welcome to Enshrouded. Developed by Keen Games, this survival action RPG drops you into a decaying fantasy world where the only thing more dangerous than the monsters is the creeping shroud that's slowly swallowing everything. You play as a Flameborn, basically a magical chosen one with a torch and a dream, tasked with rebuilding civilization while scavenging ruins, crafting gear, and fending off grotesque shadow creatures lurking in the fog. The world's vast, vertical, and begging to be explored, whether you're climbing ancient towers or spelunking through corrupted forests. Combat's got that satisfying Souls-light weight, but exploration is where it really shines. Gliders, grappling hooks, and full voxel-based building let you shape the world like your own fantasy playground. Solo or with friends, there's a lot to chew on here. Enshrouded is equal parts beauty and danger, a world you won't just want to survive in, you'll want to live in it. The Talos Principle 2. Alright, grab a coffee, set aside your ego, and prepare to question everything. Because the Talos Principle 2 isn't just a puzzle game, it's an existential spiral with lasers. Developed by Crow Team, this sequel doubles down on mind-bending puzzles and philosophical brain fuel, while somehow making robot consciousness feel weirdly emotional. You're a newly awakened android in a post-human world where machines have inherited the Earth. Not in a kill-all-humans way, but in a let's-build way, a society and discuss ethics kind of way. As you explore vast, beautiful ruins and eerie technological relics, you'll solve intricate puzzles that involve redirecting beams, manipulating gravity, and, debating the nature of identity. The writing? Surprisingly poignant. The world? Stunning. The puzzles? Challenging enough to make you feel like a genius right before humbling you back to square one. It's a game that doesn't just test your logic, it pokes at your soul. And honestly, we need more of that. Shadow Warrior 3. Subtlety? Never heard of it. Shadow Warrior 3 is a first-person frenzy where swords slice like poetry, shotguns roar like thunder, and the one-liners are so aggressively cheesy, you kinda love them for it. Developed by Flying Wild Hog, this entry throws out the rulebook and just says, what if Doom had a ninja with commitment issues? Yorlo Wang Hansasawo on Dance, former corporate assassin, current disaster magnet, on a mission to stop a literal dragon from destroying the world. No big deal. What follows is a gloriously unhinged campaign filled with demonic monsters, neon-soaked temples, grappling hooks, and enough blood geysers to make Tarantino flinch. Combat is fast, fluid, and ridiculously stylish. You're constantly switching between tight gunplay and visceral katana kills while wall running, air dashing, and looking absurdly cool doing it. It's like being inside an energy drink commercial, in the best way. Is it deep? Not really. Is it stupid fun? Absolutely. Shadow Warrior 3 is chaos with a katana, and it knows exactly what it is.
Have fun in hell, weirdo! Oh. And I didn't even need high ground.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing here? You. The cloistress is here!
INDIKA. INDIKA is the kind of game that makes you sit back and wonder, what the hell did I just experience? That's exactly the point. Developed by Odd Meter, this surreal third-person adventure is part road trip, part confessional, part fever dream. Imagine Fleabag as a Russian Orthodox nun, and you're halfway there. You play as INDIKA, a young nun navigating a bleak, alternate history version of 19th century Russia, accompanied by her inner voice, which just happens to be the actual devil. No, really. He's snarky, weirdly charming, and low-key the best travel companion you didn't ask for. The game blends linear exploration, light puzzles, and flashes of absurd minigames, all wrapped in unsettling imagery and black comedy. One moment you're delivering soup, the next you're reliving childhood trauma through a twisted puppet show. INDIKA doesn't hold your hand or give easy answers. It challenges faith, guilt, and identity through a lens that's both deeply personal and completely bizarre. It's weird, it's bold, it's unforgettable, and honestly, we need more games this unapologetically strange.
Yes, I think so too.
Don't you dare!
The Thaumaturge. If Sherlock Holmes had a cursed soul beast and lived in a gritty, magic-infused version of 1905 Warsaw, you'd get the Thaumaturge. Developed by Fool's Theory, this is a detective RPG with a dark, mystical twist, where social manipulation, occult powers, and turn-based combat collide in a city teetering between revolution and possession. You play as Wiktor Sulski, a thaumaturge, someone who can commune with demonic entities called salutors and use them to uncover truths, dominate minds, or just punch reality in the face. Think paranormal detective, but with more guilt and fewer rules. The world is dense with historical flavor, Russian imperialism, class struggles, and strange magic lurking beneath the surface. Investigations are layered and branching. Every decision, every conversation carries weight. And when diplomacy fails, combat lets you unleash your demonic companion's abilities in strategic, stylish bursts. It's haunting, brainy, and weird in all the best ways, like Disco Elysium stumbled into an exorcism and took notes. And that's the list. From sentient starships to morally confused vampires, hopefully you found something to obsess over next. If you enjoyed this mix of hidden gems and mid-budget greatness, feel free to drop a like, share your favorite in the comments, or hey, maybe even subscribe. I've got more weird, wonderful, and wildly underrated games coming your way. Until then, play something awesome and don't trust talking books.